When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode.
You know, the biggest complaint I hear from fellow practitioners out there that have small business like me is I can't afford, spending the spend on a booth at a conference. And they just don't see I hear from a lot of people, they don't see an ROI on an investment. They're just, I'll buy a pass and walk around the hallways and go to the exhibits and stuff. They just don't see the value of putting their logo all over the place. And maybe they get a call, maybe they don't. Do you hear that too from different folks out there that they're not getting a return on investment?
No,
Okay.
I mean, you might expect me to say that, right? But no, I think people who don't get any ROI are people who say, I will spend 10 grand on this exhibition stand.
Sure.
And I will wait for the leads to roll in. That will not be a winning formula.
That's good to hear.
You have to think of it as, right, so I am going, let's say, to GSX, and I'm going to spend a lot on my stand. But my stand is my office. And I want people to come to my office. It's a mobile office. I'll have people that I've put up. We're going to do some other stuff outside of it, like team building. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to draw people to my stand, and I'm going to do good follow-ups. And perhaps if I get an attendee list that I can use afterwards, then I'll make that work. But it's all about what you can do to make it work for you. Because the initial outlay, 10 grand, it is, a lot. It's a lot for especially small companies, right? Or maybe it's another conference where it costs less. Ours costs significantly less, but that's
Sure.
The thing is, it's what you do to make it work for you. Now, there are people that say, well, I significantly benefit from an infomercial slot on the prime stage in front of the whole audience compared to a single stand. Oh, well, that's not a surprise. Of course you do. Right. But an infomercial like that, we referred to it back in the day with a rather not very nice term. It was a something in a swimming pool. A something.
Yeah, something in the pool.
Something in the pool. So undoubtedly there's something that will be better. But do you want to invest that kind of money? People could say, well, it'd be fantastic if I spent no money. I went there, I got all the leads, and I got the audience right in front of me, and we had a lovely round table where I basically pitched everybody, and I only had to pay if I got any business out of it. Okay, this is perhaps a dream format, but it's not sustainable because you're leaving the event organizer with a massive headache of having to pay for all the food and all the logistics and all the people and all the venue, right?
Yeah.
So there's always something that would be better. Oh, I wonder if it could just be a little bit nicer. Yeah, cool. But you can make it work for you.
Maybe that's what I'm hearing from the US folks that attend different conferences. The biggest gripe I hear is, what's the ROI? They want a transaction. They want to set up shop. And my response is, in this industry, it takes 6 months to a year to close a deal.
Yeah. Because if you go to GSX and you said, well, GSX was last week and I don't have any immediate deals. And that's not what it's about. You got to, ultimately, from our understanding, and it could be an urban myth, the current conference format emerged in the late 70s, and then it got supercharged in the loads of money wide boy 1980s. They took academic conference formats and they used academic conference format as an excuse to conduct business. Now, there's always been wonderful, Chamber of Commerce meetups and association blah, 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 blah. But this specific format of conference where you said, right, this industry would love to look more professional, ergo, I'm going to steal an academic conference. I'm going to brand it. I'm going to put it full of people that are not academics, and so on. That came out around about there. The company that I initially worked for started their business saying people are looking for credits for their academic degrees. What if they come to my conferences and get academic points to put towards their degree? Therefore, it helped them along, right? So this format is not new, but it's good to look at where it's come from to see why it may or may not be working for some people.
Yeah, absolutely. What would be your advice? I know we have some business owners that listen to this podcast, a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to the podcast, and of course, a lot of people in the executive protection space. What is your advice for them to grow in 2026? What do you hear that they're doing that maybe said they should make maybe just some changes, adjustments as they approach going into the year on scaling their business or growing their businesses? And what is your suggestion on scaling and growing their
Okay, well,
teams?
I asked one of the people from Shark Tank, who I brought around a big expo, about scaling. And the person is a tall gentleman. That's all I'll tell you. He's a tall gentleman. And he said to me, scaling. Yes, that's the question. And so that's as much info I got out of him. Anyway, I think that scaling works if it's done in conjunction with you building momentum. Okay? So you heard me kind of be skeptical about Kevin Costner's Field of Dreams approach, build it and they will come. I saw people create conference companies and they thought to themselves, okay, in other conference companies, they have a marketing team of 20, and they have a sales team of 20, and they have an operations team of 20, right, for argument's sake. So they borrowed money, they hired 20, and an office. And day one, they said, and begin. And they folded. And the reason they folded was because they had no momentum. So systematization can happen, but you need the momentum first. So there's a lot of cost-effective ways to gain momentum, such as posting meaningful information on LinkedIn. Not stupid infomercials, not I've just asked Claude to write me an article. Just think about something meaningful. I've appeared on podcasts. I have done this, or we have done this. We've organized happy hours. We've got the community interested and bought into what we're doing. Once you get that momentum, then you can read all of the fantastic self-help books on scaling. You can do it. But I would say, if you have not got the experience of at least some sort of agency model business in your past, which I do not, for example, it's hard because you're asking people to create your business by buying into either a need or their need or a vision. Hard because if you don't have the skills to bring that group together, a company of people, it's hard. It's hard. Otherwise, they'll go, who's this person? Like, why am I working for them? Is it a long-term thing? So I don't know. That's kind of like a, of course, everybody knows thing. But I guess I would just poke at this. You need the momentum before you start to scale.
You have to cast a vision, cast a dream, a mission.
But it has to be realistic, and they have to buy into it. In the States, there's a lot of people who are ready to. The drama, the theater term is the suspension of disbelief. Okay. So it might work well in the States with a lot of people willing to suspend disbelief. And on a tangent, let me just take a quick pop at your tipping system in restaurants. Okay, when you go to a restaurant, there's the only reason you really need to tip is because no one is employing this server properly. They're not giving them a wage, blah, blah, blah. And what you're asking when you say, I want good service, what you're looking for is an actor or an actress to pretend to like you and be your buddy for the evening. And then you give them money. You know it's not real. They know it's not real. But somehow you have managed to have a fantastic theater evening. Yeah,
that is hilarious, but factual, true.
Yeah, you want it. You want that interaction. You know, you've never met them before. You're never going to meet them again, but you want that. So in a similar way, perhaps you create that theater, that drama of we have a vision, but it has to be believable. And it has to be something that creates a pull factor. Because most visions in private industry are, sadly,
We're paid.
I want a Ferrari. How can you get me my Ferrari? By selling things for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very attractive.
It's not.
Like, whilst you work here, think of all the nice, fast cars I could buy because of your work. It's not a compelling vision. So you have to allow that suspension of disbelief and go, we're here for the betterment of mankind. And I get a Ferrari. Like, whatever, if you want to build a vision, it's really a good idea to make it a real vision and to be like, right, we are truly solving a problem. And that's good. Like, but a lot of people don't work in really nice benevolent fields where it's like we're trying to solve cancer. Like,
True.
that would be a really nice goal.
Yeah.
I know I've kind of taken a few tangents there, but I feel that
that was good. You made the point.
You got to work with it.
You got to work with it. I was doing a detail. I was doing residential security at a Beverly Hills home, and that was being ran by somebody from overseas. And then the agent in charge came up to me. He goes, "Man, these restaurant owners, maitre d's, are just driving me crazy." I guess they had a client pay for the food, but the client or the principal did not leave a tip. They went berserk. And he goes, "This was a $10,000 bill. There was no gratuity left. What the heck?" I mean, I guess this wait staff was just lividly, they said, "Do not come back here ever again." I'm like, and he's venting to me. I was his therapist. I was Dr. Phil, the agent working night shift. And he's just venting my ear off. And he goes, "Well," he just told him, "I don't know what to tell you, but they're from overseas. They don't tip in here."
No, it can be offensive. It can because it's, I mentioned Germany, but like traditional Gasthäuser, like pubs that are serving food, you might give some Trinkgeld, which is like pocket money. Even that, I don't know if it's a nice thing to do. But you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of saying, "Waiter, you are lowly and you have no money. I am going to give you some money." And he's like, "Whoa, no, I'm a professional. I am happy." It's a different culture.
Culture's different out there. But yeah,
they're
living in Beverly Hills. They didn't get their 15% on the 10,000 or whatever that bill was for food. They were just living
because they're relying on it.
Yeah,
they need it to survive.
Right.
But you could critique the tipping culture because you shouldn't have to bribe somebody to do their job.
Wow, that's a good way to put it.
I mean, but admittedly, they need to have been paid, right?
Right.
And admittedly, in an environment where the theatrics are important and you need to believe that they're genuine when they're not, okay, they've done a great job at convincing you that. There's other locations that are less salubrious where that happens, okay? Right? So it's a bit challenging. You wouldn't tip a police officer, would you? You wouldn't go, "Hey, police officer, you've done such a great job being a policeman, giving me this amazing traffic ticket." Like, you wouldn't do that.
Here's $100. Could go out to dinner with the boys.
Yeah, this traffic ticket, it's the best I've ever seen. Wow. Like, no. So, But maybe on a larger scale, you can see that this relates to the different business environments, comparing the US and the UK, and Germany and the rest of the world. But it's interesting. Even I notice business differences between New York and Phoenix, or
absolutely
Baton Rouge and Chicago. Right? I notice differences.
I've noticed that. I'm from the West Coast originally, and I'm going to the Midwest, South, Texas, the East Coast. People are totally different from the West Coast. Like, I can walk down the street, people walk right past you, don't even say hello, don't even acknowledge you. In the South, you walk around in the outskirts of Dallas, Fort Worth, in that area, we just walk around. The girls are even talking to you. The guys are even talking to you. And you walk into the store. How are you? How are you doing today, sir? With that accent, I'm like, why are they being so nice?
Yeah.
Because I'm from the West Coast. It's like, stay out of my business. Let me do my thing. I'm in my bubble. Everybody walks around with their phone, facing their phone. But in the East Coast, everybody's just direct.
but I do like the adage that kind of says east. It pits east against west, but
It does.
But no east is the same and no west is the same. So but they said that. I mean, I haven't seen this exactly play out, so please forgive me. People on the East Coast may not be nice, but they are kind.
They are kind,
and people on the West Coast may be nice, but maybe not kind.
Absolutely.
And the example used, and it's not true for everybody, of course. If you break down on the motorway, the highway on the East Coast, someone will say, you should have prepared better tires, better oil change, you should have done this, but they will help you. Whereas maybe in another location, they will go, oh, that's so sad, you're broken down. Ciao.
Ciao.
Now, maybe that's just something to bear in mind when you think about conferences and locations, and just people are different. That conference format is not the same.
Yeah. I think we made a good point here. People are different through the world, different parts of the world. They're just different. They expect different things. And if you're in Beverly Hills and the West Coast, if you're making a good impression on the wait staff, tip them and they'll like you forever. You're paying them to act. I mean, be your best friend.
Yeah.
That's funny. It was true. Yeah, like I go to the coffee shop. I'm like, and they'll give me the iPad. Oh, this is up to you. But if you, the girl's saying this to me, and like, hey, here's, do you want to check out? Oh, do you want to leave a tip? I'm like, no. Every time, do you want to leave a tip? And it's like on their iPad, I'm like, nope. And it's like, it's almost like reverse psychology. They're trying to make you feel guilty.
Yep. And you know that online shopping will do it too one day. Like, how was this seamless purchase?
Yeah. Exactly. Any parting words for 2026 for you? Anything you're excited to look for? I know you got January 29th in London.
Yeah.
Your 11th annual symposium out there. And I wanted to make it out there, but we're looking at prices as trips, and getting out there is like, holy smokes, the prices were outrageous. And so, we have a training course we're getting ready for in Dallas. But any words for the audience about you that you'd like them to know about what you're working on?
Well, I'd like them to come to our DC event on the 7th of May. And I'd like them to come to our 10th annual Phoenix event on the 13th of August. Hashtag it's a dry heat. And just engage with conferences in a slightly more proactive way. And one thing I've been thinking of lately, once a year at least, go to a conference or an exhibition that has nothing to do with what you do. Because I went to a brand licensing conference last year. That's where you go and say, this NFL team, can I borrow your logo to stick on my range of clothing? And okay, they're going to say no, but like other things like books or cups or something, right? And I don't know. I feel try something new. Think outside the box. And there aren't too many events. There's only events that either are or are not attracting people.
Absolutely. True. Now, what are your handles, your social media handles, so people can find you?
CTG Intelligence, Charlie Tango Golf Intelligence, which is on Twitter X, on Blue Sky if you want, although I don't use it too much. YouTube, CTG Intelligence Insta on Instagram, Facebook, and so on. So do all that good stuff, and just connect with us.
Awesome. Yeah, if you're listening to the podcast, we'll publish this on YouTube as well. You can find me at Mark Ledlow on YouTube and Instagram, the Mark Ledlow, Facebook, the Mark Ledlow as well, and then X, Mark Ledlow, and then Instagram, yeah, and then am I forgetting? Oh, Twitter, X, that is X. Okay, there's so many social platforms, I can't remember them all. And then this will be published also on all our podcast platforms. And I've heard this that the audio form of podcasting is starting to lose its luster, and everything's starting to shift to YouTube video format, long format.
Except for the executive protection community who have to download it and listen to it in a hallway. So don't forget about them.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what my podcast producer said. So if you're in the podcasting world, trying to get some listeners and all that, just keep that in mind, that video format seems to be winning. And I don't know, we're going to do some more research on that to see if it's indeed true. But everybody seems to be just going to YouTube. And but we're all on all the podcast platforms. So thanks for tuning in and hearing what Phelim's experience and opinion is on why you should connect with people at events, and it's why it's not a lost art form of making human connections at events and making those connections. And if you're able to make that trip to London and go support them, if you have nothing better to do and want to get to know people in the UK market and the European market, there's going to be a lot of folks out there, and we want to support Phelim and what he's doing for the cause of security and AI and GSOC stuff. Not your SOC, but your GSOC, Global Security Operations Center. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. And thanks for supporting the show. And we'll have more episodes coming your way in 2026. Happy New Year. Talk to you soon.
Thanks very much.